Health and medical information from the Billy Meier contacts compiled by David Chance, revised the 25th of October 2023.
Organ transplantation. Contact Report 42.
My next question concerns the transplantation of body parts or organs. We have been transplanting body parts from the dead to living bodies, that is to say, to living people, such as hearts, kidneys, and eyes, etc., for years. What is your opinion about this? Should one do this or not?
This is the type of development of the still primitive science which, with a few exceptions, always has very little success. For example, our scientists also work with transplantation of eyes and other organs. However, these are then transferred to them from the cultivated living material of the particular life forms. Therein they have achieved complete successes. However, eyes, limbs, and organs of all kinds are cultivated and transplanted by our scientists because the natural human eye, limbs, and organs, and the whole cell tissue, etc., cannot be replaced by any technology. So body organs as well as limbs are not removed from the living or dead in order to be transferred to the living. Such transplantations involve very great dangers in various forms, of which I would like to mention just two important ones. One risk factor is the complete destruction of the immune system of the body to which a limb or organ is transplanted by a foreign body. This means that the body on which the transplantation is performed must be rendered completely defenseless by anesthetics, toxins, etc. That is to say, its immune system must be completely destroyed so that it does not repel the transplanted organ or body part. Thus, the body becomes very dangerously susceptible to any external influences, so a very small dust particle can already be enough to endanger the body, so that the life form dies. The second factor to be mentioned is that of the foreign fluidal energies that are inherent in the transplanted part of the foreign body. This transferred fluidal energy works with complete certainty against the inherent energies in the body into which they are forcibly transplanted. This creates many dangers as well as bodily and consciousness-degenerating factors. That is why terrestrial medical surgical science should try not to perform such transplants. The good form is the production of artificial and useful organs of replacement, etc., grown from the patient's own cell tissues.
Contact Report 79.
You know that we have been doing a lot of transplants here on Earth for a few years now. With each of these operations, however, there is always the danger that the patient will only survive for a short time. This is because the foreign transplants are repelled by the body, which is why the body is treated with medication, etc., to such an extent that all antibodies and defense organs in the human body are rendered inoperative, which of course has the consequence that the body becomes highly susceptible to infections, etc., which leads to the death of the patient a short time after the transplantation, at least at present. I now have the question whether it is actually not possible to carry out a transplantation with good or even the best success without the defensive substances and organs in the human body being rendered inoperative. If this is possible, can or may you then tell me what science has to do to be successful?
If a transplant is to be successful, then relatively little is required, namely a simple serum, a gene combination, which I am not allowed to describe in more detail. Various earthly scientists researching this field have already found this serum and used it in animal experiments for tests. They name the product they produce antigen serum, which is made from very specific substances from those animals which may later supply the transplants. However, this serum must already be delivered to the fetus in the womb, after which the fetus immunizes itself by developing the relevant serum substances of the animals in cooperation with the fetus's own substances, in such a form that the substances build up in commonality and become transplant-friendly. The foreign substances that build up program certain control centers of very specific cells, so these become known through the antigen serum supplied to them at an early stage, whereby they later recognize transplants of those animals as their own property from those substances contained in the serum. The exact same process takes place when the serum is produced from certain substances of another human life form. Your science should take this step now, because it is evolutionary, even if you will later deviate from it again, because better and further ways will open up, and because the realization will arise that the fluidal powers inherent in transplants are harmful in the long run and influence the carriers of transplants positively or negatively depending on their value and their power. With the human life form, no matter which race it belongs to, only the human species is important. It is the highest physical form of life with very specific, special characteristics that are not found in animal or floral life. As an autonomous small world, everything is regarded as an intruder and foreign body to the human life form in the case of foreign transplants, etc. What is right for this form alone are organ and protoplasm forms, which are created or cultivated from the existing life form itself on the basis of the individual coordination of each individual life form. This basically means genetic manipulation or genetic engineering, which is already being used in part on the Earth today and which could bring success. But for inexplicable reasons, this step is not yet taken openly, which will entail that at a later time resistance will be raised against it by the unreasonable and progress-inhibiting ones, when the development will already have progressed further, because by then the Earth human will have become even more effeminate and even more false human, and indeed already in only 2 decades. But genetic engineering has been running for a long time in terms of food modification, etc., secretly.